Timeout with Kevin. This is Javon Harris, former safety at OU. I met him when I was 12, so that's a long time ago. But Javon, the first question I always ask: who is the hardest person or team you've played against?
Let me see. Ooh, hardest team I played against. Let me see, dog. We played against some good teams. So I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Like, man, I really, I would probably say either West Virginia, whenever they had Gino and Tavon and all them cats, and then you got the A&M squad when we played in the Cotton Bowl my senior year. That team was stacked full of first round cats. So, I mean, there were a couple good games right there that I know I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, even the Florida State game we went out to. When we went out to Florida State and when they came down, and they was two pretty solid teams, man. So you got some good cats, man. I'm trying to think. Them ones right off the top of my head that I can think of were just like, star-studded team, star-studded game, stuff like that for sure.
So I know you graduated from Mac. That's obviously the rival school of Duncan. So how was just being at Mac and then going to OU? So how was all that kind of?
It's a crazy deal, man. Like, you sit back and you're like, damn, man. I'm sitting back looking at, even the rivalries and games that we had whenever I was playing, and just like, man, going through the process, just being from Oklahoma in general, and then understanding the difference in, like, all right, I got to be a little bit better than everybody around me if I'm trying to really make it, because it's always been good people, and I saw a couple guys go in front of me, get that opportunity, but I just knew, like, they was barely, like, they got in at the last minute. So it's like, all right, everybody kind of getting their classes done, and then they get in the top tier left in Oklahoma. Whereas I got mine pretty early. I was a junior when I committed. So I'm like, man, what the difference was just, man, the work ethic, the grind. Like, I remember having days I used to go out and do work by myself. There's a lot of people out here now that really enlightened, people that knew me growing up, be like, man, Javon was working outside of everybody. Like, everybody else go into the gym playing basketball. He in the weight room lifting weights. And, then I come play basketball, stuff like that. So just trying to stand out, the work ethic, the grind outside of just, being a MAC kid. We were good too. We went to state and semis twice while I was there. And then really the year before, my freshman year, when I actually got on the team, they went 2 or 3 rounds deep, so it was like, having that winning mindset, and going out there and playing to win on top of, grinding, just so you can stand out just a little bit longer.
Right. And how was the recruiting process for you? Because I know you had some good schools like recruiting you. What made you go to OU more?
Man, for me, it was pretty early in my recruiting process as far as who came on, who was going, recruiting, especially with OU. They came on pretty fast. It was like, I got a couple of people that really just offered me, that were talking to me, and then what's crazy, like, I actually got a Miami offer before I got this OU. I was like, nobody knew about this Miami offer. I got it the same day.
Oh wow!
My coach. So same day I getting a call. My coach at the time is telling me, like, hey, I'm gonna call 2 or 3 other schools. And I'm calling these schools that I went to camps with now. Like, I had K-State, Tulsa, Iowa, all these little, like, those schools were already there.
Yeah.
Now I get this, and I'm like, oh snap! So I'm telling my parents, like, I just got a big time offer.
Right.
Oh, you end up offering the same night, and I end up setting up a visit that day. And like end up going out there probably a week later, things like that, and just kind of worked it out. But it was like they offered me, and I'm like, then everything kind of rolled. Like, everybody calling me, everybody got this offer. And it was before the post era where everybody posts they stuff.
Like, yeah, every offer that you get, right.
So now it's like, all right, well, shoot, you really had to hear through the grapevines if somebody got an offer, if somebody was committing and stuff like that. So I get the offer, go out here, go up there to the school, I go on my visit, man. They blow me away on my visit like they do most everybody. You know, I'm up here, I see everything. I'm looking around like, boy, this thing right here really sit up. And you know, I'm from Oklahoma, and I just wasn't a OU fan. Like I wasn't just a fanatic. You know, I knew they was good. I watched them and stuff like that. I just wasn't no like big time. Just I'm OU everything. So
right.
I'm giving everybody a chance. And but I mean, they blew me away. Dog, I go on this visit. I'm looking at the banners in the indoor. You know, first off, they got an indoor facility. I'm like, you know, and when you're a kid in Oklahoma compared to some of these kids in Texas, because in Texas they got all these facilities and nice things.
Right,
like
right.
A lot of the high schools, not all of them, but most of them. So me seeing all of this was like, oh shoot, this big time.
Right.
Real, and also understanding like this is the same team that is in contention for the national championship every year. You know, Coach Stoops bring me in the office. I'm trying on rings and doing all of that, and it was like, all right, cool. I'm ready to get this thing done. And I had talked to my parents, and my uncle came up there with me and my dad, and my uncle went up to OU. You know, we got this thing done, man. I ended up committing that day. And I just held my commitment down, man. Obviously, it was people came along the way while I was playing. I still had my whole senior year. I had people, you know, dipping in and out. I had some bigger offers come. That would come with anytime you get an Oklahoma offer. People just, you know, let you know, like, you got an opportunity here if it don't work out. So, but a lot of people kind of just stayed in their place because, you know, I was committed. So it was big, man. I didn't have to do the whole, you know, 1,000 hats and
Right.
But it was cool.
So I know when you got there, you were a free safety, right? So you were free safety, then you changed to strong safety. So how was that whole like change, and how much did that elevate your performance after that change?
Man, to me, it was, you had to be both. You know, when I got there, they was like, man, you kind of just need to learn both of these positions because I didn't play safety in high school. I played like an outside backer and I played running back, which everybody kind of knew me as an offensive guy. Gotcha. So I'm going up here really learning defense. So you kind of learn both. So as a freshman, I'm just kind of learning how to play safety, playing special teams. I'm just learning how to play the position of safety. Because I mean, a lot of times there's a difference, but there's not a difference. You know, it's like, you know, one of them is sometimes a little bit more engaged in a run. Back then when it was not so spread out, you had kind of like the box safety and the tops of the, where as for you had the other safety that was more the over the top type guy. I didn't really have to play man coverage. So I actually played both. My sophomore year, I was the backup to both safeties. So I just had the knowledge of both positions. And so it was never like, are you the next free safety or you the next strong safety? It's like whoever the next best safety, you going in the game. So went with that. And then I ended up, my junior year, I was a true free safety, was playing more to the field, you know, just because of range, stuff like that. But then I'll go to the boundary more as a senior where I'm kind of closed off in the field, but I'm also more in the run game. You know, so it's just having to understand your role and having to be in there and you know, the ability, one thing that in college that coaches say is, you know, everybody's good, but you got to be productive. You can be right all the time, but you got to be productive. When you going to make plays and how do you get in on these plays when it's time? So, you know, for me, it was, you know, just making sure that I was in the right place at the right time. But when I had opportunities, I took advantage of them.
Right. And who are some of your biggest mentors and people you looked up to at OU, coaches, players, whoever? Who are some of your mentors?
I'll tell you, man, a lot of guys, like, you know, when I was there, you know, like Ryan Brewers is one of my guys, you know, and I even though I played safety, like he was on the other side of the ball, but I would see how these type of guys would grind and what separated them from everybody else. You know, Jamal Brown, who was a MacArthur guy, he actually came back and actually showed me a lot of things that separated, you know, the normal player to the elite players. You know, so whenever you got guys that are willing to give back and show you, and you got to also have the awareness to see the guys around you that are doing the same things. You're like, all right, well, he made it. He did some things. What was he doing different? And I just started seeing guys that did stuff extra, man. A lot of my guys that know me, they know I used to stay after practice. I'm doing something, footwork, speed, flexibility, whatever it may be, that was going to enhance my game, you know. And so and I also had to wait my time. You know, a lot of people kind of fall off after they sitting on the bench. You know, they just kind of like, all right, I'm gonna just be here for school. I just enhance my game, enhance my me being smart and my intelligence of the game, and it eventually paid off.
Mm-hmm. And so like, was it hard, waiting and with, because I know, me, I've, had to, you wait your turn and everything. And with like, and so for people who don't know, like, can you like go through like the mental toll of not playing and you know what I mean? And so how was that for you?
Man, I mean, for every athlete, I think it's a hard space to be in.
It
You know,
is,
like
it is, it is.
especially like for me, I didn't red shirt. I'm just literally sitting on the bench.
Oh,
You
wow.
know, so it's like I should be playing at least special teams, or I should be at least, you gotta go through that space where you're like, man, well, what's going on? You know, and I actually had a part where I'm like, man, I'm about to either be done with football, just go to school, or I'm gonna transfer and try somewhere else and go play what I played in high school.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I think what it comes down to is you having real people around you. Like Coach Stoops was one of the, when we talk about mentors and guys that, you look up to, you see, he was one of the realest coaches I ever had, that kept it real with you no matter what it was. So I sit in his office and he tell me, hey, Javon, if you wasn't gonna play here, I'll let you leave.
Right.
And looking at me dead in the face, I'm like, all right, well, all I'm saying is, I had a stint where I moved the running back because he understood where I was coming from. And I was like, man, as long as you let me at least even try, I'm with that. Now we end up going through spring, and one of these cats get hurt, and he's on the field. I'm on the field on offense, and they yelling at me to come back across on defense. That's what it was. But it also showed me that they trusted in me to do something on the team, to be part of the team, which also kind of helped me stay. I think you gotta go through a point as an athlete where it's like, all right, what am I really doing this for? Am I doing this for me and the gratification of just want to be big time? And when it don't happen, you can keep jumping. It might not ever happen, but or I can stay down, grind, put in this work, and force the issue. Because I deal with it all the time, even as a coach. Like you got kids that don't want to put in time, don't want. I'm like, dude, what are you doing to make something happen about what your position is and what you got, and what your opportunities are. Now, even when kids call me and ask me about transferring, kids that I've coached and played with, things like that, or, for sure that I've coached and they want to go somewhere else, I'm like, all right, so what's the real problem? You can't tell me it's because you're not playing. What's the real issue? Is you at home? Is it that you just not getting play time at all? What are you doing in practice? What's film looking like? Stuff like that. You got to be able to look at it. And a lot of times it's hard to look in the mirror and understand your part that you got to do. Now when you completely equal with somebody and y'all both doing, and then that person just happened to be the one getting in the game and getting the most, yeah, then you got something to talk about. When it's just not your time and you gotta play your dues and you gotta grind that shit out, it's a little different. And I think people gotta understand that, you gotta be able to really grind it out. You get a real job, it's the same way. So that's what pushed me, was kind of looking at a realistic standpoint of things, as well as having real people around me, like having a coach that was being completely honest with me and not beating around the bush. Because when you get to a point where you can sense flaw in people and you can sense the flaw in what people are trying to do with you, then you kind of start making a lot better decisions on what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, because that's big. Because I know, like, this is my third time transferring. Yeah, it's about to be my third. And it does get hard, and you got to wait. But then, like, the money comes into it, and this, that, and the third, and like, but now especially, I feel like it's a lot more of like who you know than the actual like product of you playing.
Sure.
And it does get hard, but like, like. I guess I can see both sides of it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. No, like I said, I tell people all the time. Like I done had kids ask me, and I'm like, yeah, you need a transfer. Like that situation not right, or
right.
For instance, I got a kid now that I'm like, you've already proven yourself at that level. You need to go up. Like you done already made the name for yourself, and you got time. You graduated early. You took taking care of business. You did what you're supposed to do. Shoot, good. I also had a kid who the whole staff that recruited him left when he got there.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's
So it's
tough.
like,
Yeah, that's rough.
what in the world? You know, and I'm like,
Mhm.
bro, I feel you. Like, and you tried it with that staff. But I know as a coach that when you get a new staff and you come in new, you got to start looking at your new kids, looking
Mhm.
who's around. Because obviously either what was there before wasn't what y'all did, you know what I mean? Or these ain't the people that you recruited. So especially if you don't know these cats, you like,
Right,
man, what? I ain't even know this coach. I'm brand new. And then he ain't really giving you no real chance.
right,
You know,
right.
like I tell guys, like, I think everybody has their own reasons. You know, some of it though is just waiting out your time. And you
Yeah, it
know,
is. Mhm.
depending on your sport, I think it has to do that too. You know,
Mhm.
football
I
is a
agree.
game of literally having to wait your turn, wait your
Mhm.
time. You know,
I
it's
agree.
all right. So, you know, then you got shoot baseball and basketball where it's like kind of immediate. You know, like I
Yeah.
gotta get this film and I gotta get this time. If
Mhm.
I ain't getting it here, I'm gonna have to go somewhere else. Especially I don't got 3-4 years to wait. You know,
Yeah, yeah, basketball, and it's only 15 dudes on the team. You know what I mean? So it's
exactly,
like it's quick.
exactly.
Um, but we get back to it. I just back to so
But yeah,
most memorable games at OU.
uh, the first time I went to Texas A&M and like seeing them, like I'm always one of the people that's like always fascinated with how the fans were. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So you go to A&M and they all kind of swaying. And you're like, what in the
Hmm.
world is going to, you know what I'm saying, the 12th man. You're like, oh, this shit for real. You know, you got, I mean, Florida State and everybody. I mean, you got, let me see here. Obviously, OU Texas is very big.
Yeah,
Everybody,
yeah.
but each experience is different. Like I'm sure anybody would tell you the same thing. They're like, man, every year is just different. Like, yeah,
Mm,
you know, you coming through the tunnel. Yeah, you know, you doing all your, but it's different. Each year was different. You know, going up to Cincinnati was cool. You know, just and it was a good game. You know, playing them guys with. Uh, and really all my bowl games, man, they going out there experiencing all them bowl games, being in different cities and states that you never been in. Phoenix was cool. El Paso was cool. You know, actually going out there. We played in the at the time it was called the Sun Bowl. And you know, going to Dallas, playing in the Cotton Bowl, being in big games like that. So uh, Fiesta Bowl, and we played the Insight Bowl. So
mm,
man, all of them games, man, were big. Going up to Nebraska,
yeah.
and that was big as well. I mean, like seeing, I mean, I watched Sue and them boys go to work, you know, and I mean, I was like,
Mm,
golly, but it was crazy because they literally got them black shirts in there, and they pack out. I think they got the longest streak of sellouts in college football history. So they big, man. There was some good games though, man. Those are my most, I mean, for sure. Because a couple of them my best games. You know, so
hmm Right, because I know the Florida State game, and I was looking it up. You had a huge game against them with the two
yeah,
interceptions and everything. That really put you on the map there. So yeah, I was like, oh, okay, look, against Florida State, they're always a really good program.
yeah.
You know.
And that at the time I think we was ranked one or either we was ranked 1 or 3 and they was ranked 5. It was like a tight game too. So
Mm,
I mean I remember telling people early in the year I was like, when we're gonna play Florida State, I'm gonna get 2 picks. And
hmm
it happened. I
Right,
was like, oh,
manifested
you
it.
know, it kind of it woke some boys up, man. But going in, I mean, we played against RG3. I got benched, and then
Yeah,
the next year,
he was cold. He was man. He was
he
awesome.
was dog. I don't care what nobody say. They had some they had cats on the receivers, and you had like Kendall Wright. You had some cats streaking down the field, up down. It was crazy. I mean, it was just we was in that era of the zone read when it really turned into the zone read quarterback scheme. People going vertical and spreading out the field. You know, our brows and them cats start really going. So like when you have everybody running pro style, deep offenses, what we saying with the box safety that's down in the box. We playing 4 wide and you gotta go play man and boys didn't really know how. I mean, Johnny Manziel going crazy. It was some times.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm already know RG3, Johnny Man. Those guys were awesome when they played. It was crazy. Yeah. So transitioning post OU, you know, you get picked up by Arizona, the Cardinals. So how was that whole like the draft process, working out for teams and getting picked up? And how was all that?
Oh man, so basically, you get done with school. I graduated in December, so I was good. Everything was fine. Um, you gotta get an agent, get an agent, kind of go through that process. I went out to California, trained for a little bit, got done with that, came back, do our pro days. So basically throughout that whole process as you're training, like if you don't a go to the combine, you working up to going to pro days, stuff like that. As you're doing that, you got to really turn into a professional because now it's more about what do you know. You got to be able to get on boards and talk. You got to be able to explain the game more so than just what you've been doing in college. So being able to do all of that, man, you talking to teams, they calling you, after the pro day, you start looking at some workouts and stuff. So I had to do a couple workouts at the school for a few teams that just came up to OU and was like, hey, we're going to do a workout with you. So you do all that. The draft process, man, like I said, just kind of working, and the draft comes. You sitting around with your family, hoping to get a call during the draft day. I was at my uncle's house, so we kind of all sitting there, me and my whole family, my brother and my mom and all them guys. First day goes by. So I knew I wasn't a first day guy, so I already know cool. Second day, I had a couple of teams that was kind of talking to me about second day. So I'm like, all right, cool, shit. I'm gonna be a late second day cat. I'm literally getting calls on the phone. Bam, all right, I'm like, all right, it might happen. It don't happen. Go past that. You're on the third day. Now you 4 through 7 round. You like, all right, well, let's see how this thing gonna shake out. You getting calls upside that, hey man, we got you on our board. We got you on our board. We either gonna take you or another cat. We either gonna take you or another cat, and they kind of talking you back and forth. So you really just sitting by your phone, watching TV, watching the rounds go by, looking at what position is. They calling and telling you like, hey man, if this don't happen, we want you to come we want you to come as an unsigned free agent. So at the end, so the whole draft go by, and you like. Disappointed, but not disappointed because I didn't get drafted, but I know I got 20-some teams right here that have invited me to undrafted free agent. Gonna give me a dang on contract, stuff like that, where not even tryouts. These are all contracts that just undrafted free agent. So I'm like, all right, cool. Out of them teams, I'm looking at it and I'm like, all right, it's about 8 on here that I actually did workouts for and being in constant conversation with.
Yeah.
My agent talked to a few other teams, and we kind of talked down, and we ended up coming up with the Cardinals. Now, me personally, I wanted to go to the Denver Broncos, but we kind of worked it out. Boom, we go to the Cardinals, and I'm actually balling out there during OTAs, rookie camp, all of that. I'm balling, doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm talking to Steve Conley. He loving me as a player, stuff like that. But you find out real quick that everything is business. All right, so we go through, get the training camp, play in 2 games. We're about to go to the 3rd game. And literally, I get cut with another tight end for them to sign a tight end. So they matched up with players. And I'm ready to go play in this last game. At least give me a game because I made the first cut. Then it was coming down the second cut. But it was cool, man. I went through it, man. I never got a call back. I did some workouts, got calls as far as come do a workout. They just didn't pick nobody up. Was gonna go to Canada, didn't go to Canada. I ended up playing in a league called the FXFL, which was one of these spin-off leagues, supposed to be a G League type deal for the NFL, one of the first ones. Kind of like how they got FXFL and XFL and USFL and stuff like that now. It was one of those type leagues. I ended up getting a couple of workouts from them after that year. My father passed that same year, so
yeah, I remember.
I was kind of going through a whole bunch of stuff like that. I ended up getting done. I went into coaching. As far as the NFL part, though, it was an enjoyable process. But like I said, it became business, and it's no longer just football.
Football.
You gotta have the right. You gotta have the right representation. You gotta have the right people. You got to make sure I didn't know a lot. There was a lot that I didn't know about the business side of it, because if I would have known, then I would have been able to make other, decisions and been able to move the correct way throughout the process of the NFL. And it, that's just kind of going through. Even my agent at the time, I picked a brand new agent. Which I commend him for taking him on. We did a lot of good things. He got me in position. But also I kind of there's a lot he didn't know. Like he didn't know I could get cut based off the contract when really I could get cut at any time. It was like those type of deals that you learn. So now I got enough power to say, whenever I got kids that go to that level and they call me and ask me, hey, what should I be looking for? What should I look at? I'm like, you need to know this, 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 and this. Those things, I wasn't even asking the right questions whenever I was looking for an agent.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So it's a learning process for sure, man. But you go through it, man. And obviously, I got to go out there, man. I met some ballers. Got to play with some. I know I could play at that level. Sure, a lot of people probably think I could play still right now, which I think, just situation, opportunity. So.
That's all it is. So, who was there in Arizona with you? Like, I know obviously Larry.
Tony Jefferson was out there. Jamil Fleming was out there. Tony just re-signed with the Ravens.
Yeah.
So and he did it. He was doing his thing. So it's just how it goes. We was actually playing opposite safeties that year. On that team. So I was like, all right, cool. So it wasn't really a competition between just me and him or stuff like that.
Right. So I know you coach, like obviously you said you coach, not that's my next point. So I know you coached at D1, D2, JUCO, so like I know you have a lot of experience. And so talk about just what made you get into coaching and taking the head coach now at Ike. So how's everything? Because I coach a 6th grade team now, and I do summers, and I do 7th grade summers basketball, and I know how hard and stressful it can be, even for that, like 12 and 13-year-old boys. So like, how's everything been?
Man, as you know, I did camps and stuff when I was young, like younger. So when I was in high school, I did camps. And I would help around, and I always was giving back to kids. Like always, whatever time I had, whatever I was doing, I always, and I like love doing stuff with them, like helping them learn how to catch. So when I got done playing, it kind of was like my calling. Like I'm like, man, I just wanted to learn how to do it the right way. Like I knew at the time, like, man, I'm gonna end up moving to Texas just because you grew up in Lawton and you like, man, I'm moving out of Oklahoma.
Right.
Here. So I was like, man, that's how we grew up. And so I'm like, man, so I literally sent a regular ass resume out to a coach at the time at Cedar Hill High School in Texas. Is the head coach now at Texas Tech, Joey McGuire. So I sent him a regular resume, not no like coaching resume, regular resume. And he hits me back and he like, hey man, this is what you need to do. You need to change this around, kind of talk more of your football stuff, experience, and then I'm gonna shoot it out and see. You're gonna have to get in, probably be a sub first, and then work your way into the classroom, things like that. And I'm like, all right, cool. He's like, but you want to volunteer because out in Texas, it's about who you know and who you can get hooked up with. He's like, with your name, you should be able to get something quick. So he sent my stuff out to another coach that used to play at OU. They hit me up. They're like, hey man, I got a coaching job for you, but it ain't football right now. But you'll be a sub. I can pay you to be a sub, and I'll pay you to be a coach. And it'll be enough for you to be living off of. All right. So what sports? And like, it's gonna be girls soccer and eighth grade girls soccer and eighth grade girls track. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I don't know nothing about coaching on middle. I got to do my camps, and I've been around some kids a little bit. But I know nothing about middle school, so I find out real quick. I don't want to coach D-cats. Now, I don't want to be in the school with them. I coach them, but I can't be with them kids bad. I'm like, man, but that's that adolescent age of middle school.
Right.
But I fell in love with coaching girls soccer and girls track.
Did you have any idea how to do soccer?
I had no clue. I played soccer as a kid, like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. So I'm literally asking the kids. I'm like, all right, so how many? Oh, so it's 11 people on the field. All right, so I'm getting. All right, so what kind of drills I need to be doing? They telling me, the kids though, like, you need to do this drill. And so I started looking up on YouTube some more stuff. I'm like, all right, what's the rules? What's offsides? I've been trying to figure out what offsides is this whole time. They like, man, I should never talking about. You can't just be out here in the open like that. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm like, all right, so I'm learning a little bit. The first game we played, the team that we playing, the coach tells me, she like, hey, we're gonna score 10 points. Like tells me, like, we're gonna score 10 points because all of our girls are select girls and da 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 da. I'm like, man, you ain't about to score no 10 points on us. Like, I don't know about it, because I really start coaching my girls up, like, got them hype about playing. Lo and behold, they come out and score 10, really 11 in the first period. I'm over here high. I'm never forget the first goal, my goalie took off running out the goal, like just moving, because everybody was coming so fast.
Right.
I was like, no. So I'm like, man, I got humbled real quick. We don't lose a game after that. We go undefeated the game. I turn up as a coach. I get them and I figure out, like, okay, they start buying in. You're like, all right, cool. So I fell in love with it. I got my first football coaching job. And then I figure out that, I got a niche for turning program. Like, kids gravitate to me, but I'm also really teaching them stuff. I'm really getting them into, like, I start noticing, like, because I hate losing. I grew up with championships. Since I was in third grade, I've been winning. So it's like, I still to the day, I had one losing football season since I've been playing and coaching. It was this past year, and I said, man, I come from, I know what it took to win, and I knew what we did. So me turning that over to these kids, I start seeing that the whole program start turning. And once your football team is winning, everybody else want to win.
Right.
Like, when you building that culture, so I was like, man, I'm really making something happen. And when you love it as a coach, and you love doing what you see the work being turned over between the kids, you like, damn, I got something going here. So I start really thinking, like, man, I can really be, and I already knew the knowledge of the game. A lot of people that play can't coach. It don't.
Right, yeah.
A lot of people that have played, great players, been playing 10, 15 years in the league, they can't coach for nothing.
It's hard.
Like, it is, because you got to still be able to teach, without having to jump on a kid and cuss a kid out. I can do that, but I also can read a kid. And that's what I learned as I continue to grow as a coach was, all right, how do I translate what I'm trying to get done for this kid without me being the mean cuss all the time? Right. Now, some of them, yeah. Like
you said, you have.
JUCO, I'm gonna rip your skin off. Like, it's just part of it. College ball, same thing. Like, I gotta get, but you a grown man too, so I really gotta create a little bit of a dominance of, I'm still your coach and I control your livelihood at this point in time. But when we get done, you're going to love me for it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And when I went into your house and I recruited you and I talked to your family, and I'm now telling you that I'm going to be a father figure in your life as a college coach, and you about to be taken away from home and hours away from what you've been used to. And now I got to mold you into a man. Now I got to go, but I also got a different respect from you as a player. You know what I'm saying? So, but you got to be a good coach, and you got to really be, like we was talking about, being real. Being real is taking me probably where I'm at now, as far as coaching wise. So I moved up fast in the coaching world just because not only my knowledge, but what I was doing in programs. I done coached both sides of the ball. I left my first football job. I was working there for 2 years. Turned that program from not being in the playoffs for 15 years to getting in my first year and the second year, and then they end up making it past the first round the year after I left. They went 3 rounds deep, So knowing that I'm leaving something and it's still continuing to be a legacy. I got a kid there that he was in 6th grade when I was there. That I used to just let come up there and we coach him up, talk a little shit to him, and be like, "Hey, this is what we doing." Now he one of the top players in the country. Right. You know what I'm saying? From that same school. That same school, I had the #1 offensive lineman in the country at a 4A small little town school out here in Texas. And I just told the kid when he was a freshman, I said, "You listen to me, I'll have you out." And he did. Put his family on. Now his family don't gotta pay for school. He at Stanford right now. Move on. I go to another school and coach offense. I'm coaching receivers. Find out real quick that I'm tired of working underneath people. I need to be a coordinator, or I'm gonna go coach college ball. So I end up leaving there, Same deal. That was their first year of varsity as a school, because it was a brand new school. Their first year of seniors. Same deal. We go 10-1, make it to the playoffs. Go and get there, and it's like, dang, we ain't even supposed to be here. We end up losing their first round, but again, this is a first year of school. You know what I mean? That ain't supposed to happen. We just bought in. I'm like, damn, and I'm coaching on the other side of the ball. So I put 4 kids, D1 out there. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, all right, what's next? I'm going to college. I go to the JUCO route. I'm not even getting paid. I'm just going for the love of the game. You know what I mean? And living, they let me live for free in the dorms. If you ever seen the Netflix, the Last Chance U?
Yeah.
So they was doing indie while I was there. Right? So I'm at Coffeeville. We playing them cats. We going about it. But now I find out that I actually got something else going because I can coach the college level. Right. And I'm so at JUCO, you got the beauty of recruiting and getting your kids recruited. Like I got the #1 player in JUCO, period, playing safety for me. He was ranked the #1 JUCO player in the country. I got the #2 safety. I got 3 corners at the time. I put out five D1s. It's only 4 DBs on the field.
Right.
First year, I ended up getting DB coach, National DB Coach of the Year. Put all my cats D1. We roll it. So I'm like, all right. So one of my coaches that was a GA at OU became the D coordinator at Troy. And he saw me come from recruiting one of my kids. He's like, man, I'm about to bring you up. That coach now is the safety coach at OU. You know what I'm saying? But it just he was a GA. He knew me. Who you know, we talking about who you know. He saw me at Coffeeville. He saw my production and what I've been doing. Like, damn, you ain't been doing nothing but winning and creating monsters. So I got to get you on my staff. I end up going there. Same thing. I'm a GA. Get some cats, help them kind of get some stuff turned around in the fold, installing a brand new defense, putting their stuff together. I end up getting a full-time job at West Texas A&M. So I end up coming back to Texas. And, same deal. We go out there, I help turn that program and get their defensive backs right. Turn that program around, back to winning and getting them in the fold of playoffs and stuff like that. So end up getting an All-American player, working through that same stuff, like, all right, now what? At the time, I had to make some more money, so I ended up leaving the college level and going back to high school. And then I went to Kilgore. We went 4 rounds deep, in Texas. That's big. You go, it's 6 rounds, you go 4. You one of the top 8 teams in the state, and I'm the co-defense coordinator at the time, but we really making a run, and we end up losing to the team that was at state and got second, so I end up getting a job, out here as a D coordinator the next year, this past year, and, helping turn this program that, they went 0-10 for years, years. It's one of them type of schools, inner city school with different problems, different kids, different players, everything. So, but we ended up going 2-8. We lost 6 games within 6 points. Though. Of the 8 games that we lost, we in a 1-point striking distance. A one score striking distance. So it helped them turn some things around. I'm still out here right now, leaving here soon with some kids that got a possibility of going state and track. So. Just going in, man, and now, like I said, I fell in love with it, just turning a lot of this stuff around. I'm gonna do the same thing at Ike. When I got the opportunity to take this job at Ike, I wasn't gonna turn it down. I knew that this was gonna be big. I knew God put me in a position to be in a position to, take this over, come back to my hometown, turn things back around. That mindset of getting out a lot and just getting out and staying out. I'm about to turn all of that back around and get people coming back to Oklahoma, coming back to Lawton, staying there, really helping getting the education foundation in Oklahoma turned around and getting people to want to be, part of that success change and people becoming more successful. And, it all starts with, wanting to be back home, and coming back home and really diving in and doing stuff right, so I'm gonna do some big stuff, man. I know for a fact I'm gonna come out there and start winning. that's gonna happen regardless, just because that's what I demand. That's what I'm putting on guys. But one, surrounding them with good coaches. Two, surrounding them with good people. Putting them in the community and letting people see. I think the big thing is when I was a kid, we used to come back and we would see the success of guys leaving and getting out and going to play D1 and stuff. I think that's kind of a lost art, and it's not just in Lawton, it's kind of all over. With the travel game and people not really, remembering that community is what creates success.
Right. And
it's gonna be big though, man. I'm excited.
Right. And that was kind of one of the main things for me, even like when I'm leaving where I'm at now at Mid-America Christian, like, because Lawton's the closest school to like from Duncan, and my mom moved there now, to Lawton and everything. And this would be just a perfect spot, you know what I mean? And just just everything that I do, I was like, man, Lawton, it would be a great place to create a change of scenery and a new way for me to make it, you know what I mean? And I was like, and why not, because Cameron's been struggling these last couple of years, but like, why not me and some other guys? We can put it right back on the map how Cameron used to be, you know what I mean? And like, but I think Lawton is a good place,
Oh yeah,
but they just need the sports. They need that, you know what I mean, and bring that excitement back. So I think with like people like you and just some of the things that I know that Cameron is kind of doing, I think that Lawton can be right back on that map of a great spot to be at.
So I know, man, I'm excited, man. I know just talking to the board, and me when talking with the higher ups, in Lawton Public Schools, stuff like that. I think we all got a great vision as far as where we seeing things, as far as rebuilding that culture in Lawton. I mean, like I said, man, I'm excited. I'm ready for to see where it's gonna go. I think when people look at it, and I tell people, this ain't just about me coming home. It ain't ever been about me. Right. It's always been about me coming back to spread more about being from Lawton and it being important from being from a place like that. So it's gonna be big. Like I said, man, I'm excited. Like I got my camp. I'm bringing back. So I'm ready to get things going, man. I'm gonna have a lot of people, diving into the community, and a lot of people that, kind of went away from it to get back in.
Right. So, time for the bonus questions. So the first question I have is Mount Rushmore of athletes, top 4.
Okay. Oh, I got Michael Jordan, LeBron, Tom Brady, Bo Jackson.
Who's better, LeBron or Michael? Who's better?
Oh no, let me say, man. I'm a LeBron fan just because I'm big LeBron. I love Michael Jordan, man. And like after watching this little documentary, I was like, hey man, we didn't get the chance to just see it.
Right.
So I think that's kind of where a lot of people get their bias. They was watching Mike. Now they watching LeBron, so they like, it's hard for them to be like,
but somebody's better,
So I'm big LeBron.
I'll defend LeBron to the death. So my second question is top 3 favorite artists.
Future in my top.
I like Future.
So I'm just, I'm big on when cats got a little innovation, different. Gotta go Jeezy, and I'm gonna go a little bit older with Jadakiss.
Yeah, and I've never heard somebody say Jadakiss before. You're the first person that said it. You first person said it.
My boys know I used to be on that Jada hard. I mean, just kind of my era of times and stuff like that. I love music, man. I got my best friends, they are producers, so it changes, it varies, so what I'm listening to at that time. But I mean, shoot, like I'm big on cats like Rick Ross and cats like that, just making boss moves, boss type music where I'm kind of working myself up, stuff like that. I love everybody, man. I'm big Kanye.
I love Kanye.
You know what I'm saying? I love all them cats, man. Kid Cudi, and you get to so them cats, man. I love music, so it's big, dog. So I think I love the like R&B scenes, Chris Brown and them cats, The Weeknd, them cats like that kind of jump beats. So, and I'm big on the music, man. my boys gonna know we gonna be jamming for sure.
I'm gonna have to come to some games.
I hate coaches that don't like. I'll be like, Coach, I need something. Dog. You got me.
Right.
I gotta bring. I'm about to have to bring my headphones to practice.
I'm already knowing.
It's all good.
So last question is, who would you want to see on this channel? It can be, you have to have a connection with that person though. So who?
Man, I'll tell you right now, just based off kind of where it's at, man, I would definitely reach out to my boy Ryan Bros, man.
That would be awesome if you can give me him. That would be awesome.
Man, yeah, man. He especially where he's come from to where he's like one of the top realtors in Oklahoma now.
Yeah, I saw that.
Man, it's crazy. He actually gonna be helping with my camp. I'm about to put that out here in a little bit, man. But he's man, just his story, and his turnaround in life and how things went, man. Like I think he'll be big for sure.
Yeah, man, definitely. I got you on Facebook. Yeah, definitely. We can. I can get his number, whatever, and I can talk to him. He'll be awesome for the channel. He'll be awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, thank you.
That'll talk.
Yeah. I would love to talk to him for real. But thank you, Javon, for doing this. Like I said, I met you when I was 12. Now I'm 21. So
yeah.
I'm excited for what you're gonna do for Lawton, and I'm definitely gonna have to catch some games. I'm gonna be up there anyway. So that would be awesome.
Down, man. It's gonna be. I got some plans, man. We're gonna make it exciting, man, for not just I done been around the block now to see that you can get your people involved, man. So it's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be a big deal.
Yeah, I'm so excited, man. I'm so excited. Like I said, thank you again, man. Hope hope the transition from Lawton is easy. You know what I mean? Everything. So I'm gonna be pulling for you, man.
Appreciate
you. I'll see you later, man. Thank you.
All right, no problem.